Hello everyone and welcome to another track profile. Now today's track profile is going to be a little bit different. As we've been going through some of these racetracks across the country, the main goal of these videos has been to show you what it looks like, so that way if you ever attend in the future, you know what to expect. However, there won't be much opportunity for you to be able to do that for the track that we're going to look at today, because we are focusing on the soon-to-be-closed Golden Gate Fields in Albany, California. This track on the San Francisco Bay has been here since 1941, and it was announced last year that it will be closing on June 9th, 2024. So, of course, immediately once I heard that news, I booked myself a trip, hopped on a plane, and came on out to see Golden Gate Fields and commemorate it for future generations. And hopefully you'll have the chance to visit Golden Gate during its final few months. But if not, this video is meant mainly for people that are watching in the future. So that way, if they're looking up Golden Gate and they want to see what it looks like, they can come here and take a look around the entirety of the racetrack. It's a shame this track is closing, because I can already tell you it's one of the most beautiful that I've been to. But let's go ahead and take a tour around the soon-to-be-closed Golden Gate Fields. Upon first arriving at Golden Gate Fields, you're going to go up this big hill right alongside the barn area in order to get up towards the third floor. And once you've hopped out of the car and take a look around, you can already tell the kind of beauty that you're about to see. The racetrack is literally right on the San Francisco Bay. You can see the city and the Golden Gate Bridge from right here in the parking lot. Now we're entering through the clubhouse entrance, and once you go inside, you check in with security, scan your ticket, and then walk immediately into the third floor simulcast room. Customer service and the programs are on your left, and some self-service wagering machines are on your right. They have a bar as soon as you enter, and a concession stand immediately behind it. Walk outside and you are greeted by one of the most beautiful views of any racetrack. The Berkeley Hills serve as a backdrop of all the houses and businesses. Whenever you're watching the races on TV from Golden Gate, really all you see is the green fence behind the horses. You don't get to see this beautiful backdrop that's also behind them. You have the GGF in the infield in front of the tote board for Golden Gate Fields. Everything that's in the infield is beautiful, all the fountains and ponds. There's plenty of grandstand seating and box seating if you'd prefer one of those. And you can even see the paddock from all the way up here. The paddock is in the very front right alongside the racetrack, so even if you're sitting up in these seats, you can see the horses getting saddled without having to leave. Back inside, you can see just how far the wagering and simulcast area goes, and it has that old-time feel with it. Then you'll head down the escalator in order to get to the second floor of the racetrack. The second floor is pretty much the same as the third. This is going to be where you have a lot of outdoor wagering windows, concessions, and bar areas, and also where the gift shop is located. Now, as you can see by my video, a lot of this stuff wasn't open on the days that I was there. Obviously, Golden Gate is not getting the crowds that it did back in the 1950s or 60s. No racetrack is outside of Kentucky Derby Day, but this is still a pretty neat spot to be at. If it was a full crowd and I had to pick one spot to purchase a ticket, it would be for here on the second floor. This is where I chose to film all the races from that you've been watching on the channel, and what I think was the best view, where you're close enough to the racetrack but also up where you can see over everything in the infield. And also, when you're up here on the second floor, if you walk all the way up to the front, you are right on top of the paddock. You can literally look straight down over top of the horses and get yourself such a fantastic view. Now, one of the issues with the paddock is the fact that the roof kind of cuts off your view of the stretch run a little bit when the horses are right behind it. From what I heard from some of my new friends that I made at Golden Gate, there were plans in the process to lower the roof, but you know, the track is closing, so obviously that's not going to happen anymore. But just imagine back when it was a full crowd, you buy a ticket for right in the front seat here, you get two for the price of one. Watch the horses get saddled, and then watch the race without even leaving your seat. Down another escalator we go, and we will finally make it to the ground level. Immediately, you'll see more concessions on your right, and the Paddock Pub, a bar, over on your left. And walking straight off the escalator will take you to the actual ground level of the paddock. Walk outside the glass and you can see there are 3 tiers of steps, so that way you can see over people in front of you if you're not in the front row. The horses get right up next to you and you are so close to them. They don't allow anybody to stand in the middle, so you can always see directly inside of the stalls, which is really awesome. Instead, the connections will stand over in the little grassy area on the left side of the paddock, and they will stand here until it eventually is time to leg up the jockeys and head on out to the track. And if you're standing on that wall, make sure you try to look down to catch some of the mural. Inside of the paddock, you can see it the best, this big beautiful mural honoring San Francisco and Golden Gate Fields. If you go towards the right side of the paddock, you'll eventually get down to more wagering windows and seats. If you keep walking towards the far side of the paddock and go outside, this is where you can watch the horses as they're making their way to the paddock. And it's also where the jockeys enter and exit the paddock from, so if you stand by here after the race, you might be able to get a picture. Their locker room is inside of the brick building, and looks pretty much just like you'd expect the jockey's locker room to look. And upstairs, they're going to have their hangout room with the equicizer, some pool tables. And if you walk outside, they got a pretty nice view of the racetrack from inside the Jocks Room. On the other side of the paddock is a little table area where people who have gotten food from one of the concession stands or a drink from the paddock pub can come over and sit outside while they eat. It's also right in front of the winner's circle. Horses will enter into the winner's circle to the cheers of the crowd. This winner's circle is actually relatively new to Golden Gate. Apparently they used to take pictures out on the racetrack, but this was added a few years ago. And then the jockeys will be weighed again before they head back to their locker room underneath the little triangle roof. The apron is covered in benches and picnic tables for people to be able to take a seat on. And when you get up to the rail, you're going to have one hell of a view as they're coming down the stretch. The post parade runs all the way down to the 16th pole, so if you're up on the fence, you're going to get a great view of the horses on their way out to the racetrack. And it provides a great opportunity to get up close to them as they're loading into the gate and breaking out of the gate for those 1 mile races. Then the horses will return after the race to be unsaddled behind the paddock. If you go all the way to the top of the apron, you'll be able to get this great view of the grandstand. You also have the old entry booths that are still sitting over along the side. And you're able to get a great view of the horses as they come flying off the turn, entering their stretch drives. Golden Gate's main track is a synthetic surface, and they do also have a turf course, which was not in use while I was there because they've had a lot of rain over the winter, but they've still been known for having some great turf racing. And being inside of the racetrack as the horses are going into the gate and breaking out of it with the grandstand in the background is one of the coolest views you can get. The barn area sits behind the clubhouse turn, and the horses will have their entry and exit point for both the races and the training right on the corner. And when it comes time to leave the track after morning training, the horses will leave through the chute where the sprint races start. In between a lot of the barns are going to be the mechanical hot walkers that the horses will use once they're done with their training. And the track kitchen is right there at the entrance to the barn area to give the workers a place to eat. Now we've made it through the 3 main floors, so it's time to head on upstairs to the 4th floor and the Turf Club. The Turf Club is a private dining area that's open on the weekends. Beautiful views and buffet food available. Many of the tables have their own video screens on them so you can see the action. You're up high enough where you can see everything, from the paddock to the post parade to the race itself. There's also a back room to the Turf Club where you can watch the simulcast from other racetracks and head all the way to the back and you get one of the most beautiful views of the San Francisco Bay. But that's not the only place where you can see the bay that clearly. You can also see it from the restrooms. That's right, the Golden Gate restrooms are one of the most talked about things on this racetrack. Where else can you go to the bathroom with $1 million view? The 4th floor is also where you can find the press box. This is where the members of the media will hang out to complete their stories, upload their pictures, their own little special spot to watch the races, and complete their work.
And they're off. Inside of the start, Dark Mystery. It's Jerry, Jeff, Walter, and Denton 2. These two run up for the front, and Haley's inside. Only a half lap. 4 on the pole, and Whitmore on the outside. There's Lord Whitmore in the 9th gap here, going to the
And there's one place we still haven't gone yet, and that's all the way up on the roof. This would be how the stewards and the track announcer get over to their booth, and as you can see, it has such a fantastic view of both directions on the bay and the hills. And from what I was told, this was a great spot to watch the fireworks on the 4th of July. So how'd I do? Did I get to enough spots to show you what Golden Gate looks like? Whether you've been there before or you've never had the chance to, hopefully this track profile will help to keep the memory of Golden Gate alive long past its closing. In a short time, this track easily became one of my favorites in the country, and I'm so upset that we're going to be losing it. But at least I'll have the memories and the video of the racetrack for years to come. This was one of my most anticipated trips, and I was so happy that I was able to make it to Golden Gate before it closed permanently. So let me know what you thought of the racetrack in the comments below. Let me know any stories if you have been there before. And this isn't the last that you'll see of Golden Gate on my channel. I'm going to have several more videos to come, but we've got more coverage covering Golden Gate over the next few days to kind of help keep that memory alive. So make sure you're staying tuned for that. But thank you all so much for watching and commemorating Golden Gate Fields with me. I hope you enjoyed the track profile, and I'll see you at the races.